thejohnjohnsonshow.com.
He has written for Real Time with Bill Maher. Not Bob Maher, that's his brother. Bill Maher, the real deal. And we met Toby, Mr. Toby MURESIANU. We met him at a comedy competition where we were going to see our friend of the show, Shaylin Bowers. Where is he? Mr. Shaylin Bowers, another star comedian here. But that night, he was bested by Mr. Toby MURESIANU, who won that competition at the Irvine Improv. So sorry, Shaylin. He crushed a lot of comedians that night. He's about to crush you. His name is Toby MURESIANU. MURESIANU. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Toby MURESIANU.
Always nice to do a show where my introduction makes me feel like an asshole. It's good. Welcome to the stage. Well, it's good to be here in Huntington Beach. I love Huntington Beach. Every time I come here, I feel like I'm in a 311 music video. I'm like, are you guys all in the Sublime band? Like, everyone? It's crazy. It's fun. You know there's a lot of comedy when there's too much comedy for just one chord. Need a backup. It's going to be a fun crowd. Young folks. I'm in my 20s. So I think we were kind of like the first generation people in the 20s. Where when we were growing up, there are always people looking at us like, look at those kids. Everyone's protecting their self-esteem. They're all getting trophies. They're going to grow up to be a bunch of entitled pussies. And now we're grown up. And those guys totally nailed it. Yeah. Our generation is the reason China's going to bury us. Because in 10 years, China's going to have like 100 million people with engineering degrees, and we're going to have like 60 million people that are trying to be DJs. Welcome to the show. Our parents are like, why aren't our kids moving out? They're 28. It's like, well, maybe because they're told their whole lives they should do what they loved. Turns out no one loves working. I mean, I shouldn't talk. I'm a comedian. My parents were like, what do you want to do with your life? I was like, complain about it. They were like, is there money in that? I was like, yours. This isn't always what I did. I used to be an engineer. And to be honest, when people ask me what I do, I still say I'm an engineer. Because I'm pretty quiet. And if I'm a comedian, people are always like, he's pretty quiet for a comedian. But if I'm an engineer, people are like, he's a hilarious engineer. That's it. And sometimes people take comedy too seriously. They're like, comedy, that's the hardest thing you can do. That's bullshit. Being an engineer was way harder. If only because no matter how bad of a job I might do up here tonight, a bridge won't collapse. Wow. My generation, we just expect things to be easy. I have all these friends who are like, I'm a photographer. And then I see their photographs, and I'm like, I think you just own a camera. Yes. People forget that photography was a job because it was difficult. You didn't have a 12-megapixel autofocusing lens. You had to manipulate cryptic dials. You didn't have unlimited free exposures. You had to buy expensive film. You didn't have a preview of what you're going to take before you even took it. You had to spend 3 days in a dark room using chemicals that gave you cancer and your children birth defects. I know. My mom was a photographer. It's fine.
thejohnjohnsonshow.com.